Hello and welcome to this short video series in which we are going to learn a little bit more about the Bitcoin. So this video series is designed to help you understand what the Bitcoin is, where the Bitcoin is coming from, where the Bitcoin is going to, what is the underlying technology. I will also be talking about how to create Bitcoin wallets, how to store Bitcoin, how to buy Bitcoin and all of that. So in the end of this series, will we have a better understanding about the Bitcoin technology and how to use Bitcoin. Okay, before we get started, just shortly about myself. This video series is presented by me and myself. I'm Romina Flummi. You're most than welcome to send me a friendship request on Facebook, to send me a message. If you have any questions, any concerns, you're most welcome to ask me. I'm more than happy to help you in any capacity I can. If you're an experienced network marketer, I'm also very happy to connect with you because I always believe there's something to learn for myself. And also maybe there's something to teach you. And also if you are a new investor or potential investor, feel free to ask me any questions and concerns that are on your in your head. Okay, let's start with a quick overview about the Bitcoin. Okay, so the Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency. It has been invented in 2009 by a pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. So I'm talking pseudonym because in the end of the day, no one really knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. No one knows if it's a boy, it's a girl, if it's an entire team. There are a couple of rumors out there, but in the end of the day, no one knows. But it doesn't, for what we do, it doesn't really matter who invented the Bitcoin. At present, which is now July 2017, there are around 40 million users worldwide using Bitcoin. And we observe every single day an increasing amount of users that are investing into Bitcoin, that are going to use into Bitcoin. So it is a really fast developing technology or way of paying goods and services as well. Bitcoin is a currency. What does that mean? So in the end of the day, we can buy Bitcoin, we can sell Bitcoin, we can trade Bitcoin on broker markets, for example. We can buy goods and services in Bitcoin. Obviously, to do so, the company that provides the goods and services needs to accept Bitcoin. There's a couple of big companies out there that are starting to accept, like Apple, Microsoft, etc. So we can think of a good future of Bitcoin. Then the Bitcoin, that's really important to understand. Bitcoin is a decentralized system. So the Bitcoin has no central authority like a central bank. There is no third-party authorities. There's no single server controlling Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin is a decentralized system. And at present, the Bitcoin software is installed on over 1.8 million PC worldwide. So what does that mean is that the Bitcoin can't just be turned off, because in the end of the day, if you want to turn off the Bitcoin, you literally have to go all over the world and manually switch off 1.8 million PCs, which is literally impossible. That makes the Bitcoin that secure. Okay, so the Bitcoin underlying technology is the blockchain technology. How you can think about the blockchain technology is like a chain. So every transaction in the Bitcoin system is getting translated into a block, okay? And once the block is big enough, so meaning a lot of transaction or enough transaction have been transacted inside of that block, the block is getting closed and attached to the chain. But the unique point about every single block is that it not only contains the new transaction, but also all the other transactions. So in the end of the day, it is not possible to say, okay, I'm going to take out a transaction that I made 1 month ago, because it will appear in the next block anyway. So that makes the blockchain technology so secure and safe to use. And so the Bitcoin is created or developed, if you wanted to use that word for it, in a mining process. In the end of the day, there are only 20 million Bitcoins that are possible. Once 20 million Bitcoins have been created, the technology will stop to create Bitcoin, and there's no way to create new Bitcoin, which makes it gives us a lot a couple of other advantages that I will talk about in the next foil of this video. Yeah, the Bitcoin as well is anonym and transparent. So we can think about the Bitcoin system as a telephone book. We can see all the numbers, which in our case are the 34 digits of every Bitcoin address. We can see every transaction related to that address, but what we cannot see is who owns this address, unless this person, the owner of the Bitcoin address, wants us to know who this person is, which makes it great for both cases. So you can be anonym if you wanted to, but you can also be transparent, which is fantastic if you do crowdfunding projects or fundraising projects or anything like that, because everyone can see what sort of funds are getting into that Bitcoin address, that crowdfunding fundraising address. So no one can say you are doing dodgy things or there are some funds getting misleaded or something like that. So you have the beauty or the best of both worlds. You can be anonym as much as you wanted to, but transparent at the same time. Okay, then every Bitcoin wallet, which I will be talking about in a later video, has two different keys. The public key, which is basically available to everyone, and then the private key. The private key is really important to have. So I will be tapping into that as well in a later video. But the private key gives you full control of your Bitcoin wallet. So it's pretty much like the PIN and the TAN of your Bitcoin wallet. So it's pretty important for later processes as well. If you want to invest and store Bitcoin in a Bitcoin wallet, have your private keys in a safe place. I will be talking about that in a later video, why that is so important. Okay, let's tap into the advantages of Bitcoin and of working with Bitcoin. So the first advantage, as I mentioned before, is you have the beauty of both worlds. You can be as anonym as you wanted to, so there is no central authority controlling the Bitcoin. There's no third party that needs to validate your transaction or anything like that. So you can invest and be anonymous as well. But you can be also transparent if you wanted to. So you can do fundraising projects, you can do crowdfunding projects. Everyone knows what's inside of the wallet, so no one can hold you guilty that you misleaded funds or you are hiding funds or anything like that. So that's the beauty about that sort of relation when it comes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is suitable for the masses. This is very powerful. All we have to work with Bitcoin, to invest with Bitcoin, to pay with Bitcoin is this small little device here. So all we have to have is a little smartphone, and everyone in the world has a smartphone. Okay, or most of the people. I don't want to say everyone in the world because I'm sure there are people that do not have a smartphone, but in the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, it's suitable for masses. Another great way of working with Bitcoin are all-in Bitcoin wallets. They give you a little debit card, which you can use to pay with Bitcoin as well. So it's really great to use and really suitable for the masses, which indicates that in the future there are going to be more people using Bitcoin. Okay, another thing that is great if you use Bitcoin and transfer funds in Bitcoin, it is first of all quick. So a Bitcoin transaction can take a couple of hours, maybe a little bit more, depends on the type of transaction, and it is low cost. Okay, so it doesn't really matter if I personally send Bitcoin within Australia, if I send Bitcoin from Australia to Germany, if I send Bitcoin from Timbuktu to Hawaii, it doesn't really matter. It is always quick, it is always low cost. When we compare that, for example, to the banks, okay, or other financial institutions, there are a lot of more out there than banks, but I just keep that example up for the moment being, okay? So if we want to transact within the country, it's no cost, it's pretty fast, but if let's say, wanted to transfer my funds from Australia to Hawaii, let's say, it is costly. It takes a long time, up to a week or two, and yeah, everyone knows what I'm doing. While with Bitcoin, no one knows what I do. It's done in a couple of hours, and it's really low cost transaction fee. Also independent of how much funds I send. So I can send $10, I can send $1,000,000. Doesn't really matter. When it comes to the bank, you can pay $10, you pay a certain percentage. If you pay send $1,000,000, you pay a little bit more. Okay, what I personally really like about the Bitcoin is its independence. Okay, so what I mean with independence. So as I said, Bitcoin is not controlled by a government or a financial institution. There's no third party involved, so it's completely independent, which is fantastic if someone lives in a country where is a lot of corruption, because the Bitcoin is completely set free from all of those this sort of business. Another thing that we are observing at the moment is that the Bitcoin is raising, especially in third world countries. So why is that? In third world countries, people have only a limited ability to open bank accounts. Okay, so people in third world countries have only a limited ability to, yeah, to just get involved into the online market, to buy and purchase goods online and that sort of thing. While Bitcoin actually allows you to do that. No matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances are, you are always able to buy Bitcoin as long as you have a smartphone. And another thing is that there are certain countries where females, for example, are not allowed to own money at all, by law or by religion, or I don't want to go into that. But Bitcoin allows those females to actually have funds. Okay, it's not fiat funds that we normally use at stores. It's Bitcoin, which has an increasing acceptance as well, which I will be talking a little bit later now. Okay, the Bitcoin is secure to use. The blockchain technology is really safe to use. It can't be hacked at the moment and I doubt that it's going to be easily hacked in the future as well. The only thing we have to be a little bit aware of is where we store Bitcoins. So why working with Bitcoin, like sending Bitcoin and that sort of thing, is really safe. Storing Bitcoin is another story of the equation. So it's easy for hackers to hack online wallets, for example. So make sure if you have a large amount of Bitcoin stored online, you might want to swap to an offline wallet or a really secure online wallet. I will be tapping into that in another video. But just keep in the back of your mind that the blockchain technology is safe to use. It's really safe to work with Bitcoin, while storing Bitcoin is another thing. So we have to make sure that our Bitcoin are stored safely, because there is where hackers can come in. Inflation with Bitcoin is not possible. Okay, as I said before, we only have a limited amount of Bitcoin, which is 21 million. Once 21 million Bitcoins are produced, the software will stop producing Bitcoin, so there's no inflation possible. If we talk about fiat currency or paper currency, if you wanted to put it that way, a government or a financial institution or whoever has control about over that fiat currency can just rock up and say like, okay, we're just yeah, printing another whatnot $20 million euro or whatever currency we are talking about, and so that brings the inflation into the game, because we have a yeah, unlimited amount of fiat currency, while the Bitcoin currency is not reprintable, it's not reproducible. Once 21 million Bitcoin are produced, and forecasts say it's going to happen until 2030, so there's a lot of time until then, the software will stop to produce Bitcoin. So it's a really inflation secure yeah, currency. Oh, or basically inflation is not possible in the end of the day. Okay, so now let's have a look into what actually yeah, impacts the Bitcoin value. What lets prices increase or decrease? What is it that makes the Bitcoin value so, yeah, so volatile? Okay, so awareness and trust in the marketplace increases value of the Bitcoin. So the more awareness there is out there and the more trust, the more users are out there, obviously, the bigger the price is going to get. Okay. Another thing is also acceptance. So while awareness and trust needs to come from both sides, customers and companies, acceptance has to come as well. So customers have to accept the Bitcoin as a way to pay and to, use it as a currency, but also companies have to accept Bitcoin as a payment method. And what we observe in these days is that companies, big companies such as Microsoft, Apple, and also like smaller cost companies, small restaurants are starting to accept Bitcoin. So the acceptance in the marketplace is increasing, and with the increasing acceptance of Bitcoin, obviously the demand of Bitcoin is going to increase, which again increases the prices. Okay. Other countries, I have to mention Germany and Australia is a little bit behind of that, but there are countries out there where companies are starting to implement Bitcoin ATMs. This is a revolution because now Bitcoin gets from the online world, which we are dealing right now mostly with, into the offline world. So as I said, Australia and Germany is a little bit behind, but there are countries where this is actually happening right now as we talk or as you watch this video. Okay, another another factor that affects the Bitcoin prices is supply and demand. It's like an economical equation in everything we do, in every economical environment we are moving. Supply and demand always impacts prices. So which means if there are just a few people selling their Bitcoins, or there are just a few Bitcoin in the marketplace, but there's so many people asking for Bitcoin that want to buy Bitcoin, then obviously the prices are going to increase. Okay. The opposition can of course also be the case. If there are a lot of Bitcoin out there, everyone wants to sell Bitcoin, but no one wants to buy Bitcoin, then obviously we have a decreased value in the marketplace. Having said that, at the moment we have a high demand of Bitcoin. That's why the Bitcoin prices are increasing, especially in the last couple of months. Okay, so we have 20 million Bitcoin only. So acceptance, trust, awareness is most likely to increase, which means that the demand of the Bitcoin is also most likely to increase with only a limited amount of Bitcoin. So once 21 million Bitcoin are out there, and let's say there's a lot of people wanting the Bitcoin, the prices are going to increase as well. And of course, news always affect prices. No matter if we're talking about fiat currency, cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, news always affect prices. So for example, if there are good news out there saying the Bitcoin is accepted in this and that country, or Bitcoin is now accepted by, let's say, Starbucks or any other big company, that's all obviously good news, which affects the prices in a positive way. The opposition can also be the case. So if there are news out there saying there's a country that doesn't allow to use Bitcoin anymore, or there is something changing in the technology which raises uncomfort in the users and that sort of thing, then obviously we have negative news and the prices are going to decrease. Okay, let's talk about the future. When I'm talking you through that foil, I have to mention everything I'm talking about here is my personal opinion, being involved in the market, being on the pump, what is happening. Obviously, everything I have to say is not gold, but what I have to say, I say with full confidence. And so this is something that I need to make you aware of. So we have seen in the past a fast development in Bitcoin. Okay, so the Bitcoin started in 2009, all right, with a value of only $1. I wish I would have bought that. And increased now as of July 2017 to a dollar value of around 2,700, 2,800. It's always going a little bit up and down in that rate range of price. So it has developed within 8 years from $1 to 2,800-ish US dollar in just 8 years. And I'm very confident to say that I see the Bitcoin value increasing much more. Obviously, there will be a couple of setbacks, but I'm very comfortable and confident to say that the Bitcoin value is going to increase in the future. Yeah, and the Bitcoin price, we have observed that the Bitcoin price has increased rapidly in the last 3 to 4 months. So when I bought my first Bitcoin, I bought them for, I think it was around $1,000 US, and that was in February this year. And now we have July this year, and the price has more than doubled. So the really big and rapid development came just in the last couple of months, really. So that's how powerful the price motion, the volatility of Bitcoin can get at times. We do have promising forecasts for the next couple of years. So there are forecasts out there that say like the dollar value of Bitcoin will reach 6 and 7 figure values. If that is going to happen, I can't say that. But what I can say with a lot of confidence, as I mentioned before, is that the Bitcoin is going to increase in price over time, obviously with the normal setbacks that every economic cycle is going through, but I'm confident to say it's going to have a good future. What is very important for me for when it comes to the Bitcoin compared to other cryptocurrencies and altcoins is that I see the Bitcoin as a potential world currency. So the way the Bitcoin is going as of the moment being, with the high acceptance, the high awareness, and also a lot of companies accepting Bitcoin as a payment method, is that I see the Bitcoin as a potential world currency in the future. When that is going to happen, I don't know. It might be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but this is very important for me. When talking about Bitcoin, I normally talk about a potential world currency. I also see Bitcoin as a long-term investment, so it's not like a short-term investment where you can invest and then take your money with a profit out in a very short period of time. I do believe Bitcoin is a long-term investor, similar to gold, where it's a long-term investment as well. No one can see my funds, no one knows how many Bitcoins I own. It doesn't decrease in value because it's just very limited. And no one can take my funds as well as at the same time once stored safely, which as I said, which I will talk about in another video. I get a lot the question, is it still good to join the Bitcoin market or the cryptocurrency market in general? Is it not too late to join? That sort of question comes towards me quite a lot. I definitely can say yes. Okay, so the cryptocurrency market and even Bitcoin is still a niche currency, still a niche market. It didn't arrive in mainstream yet. So there is a lot of price increase possible once the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have reached mainstream. Then the prices are going to regulate. So in my personal opinion, it is still a fantastic time and the right time to get involved into the cryptocurrency market. Okay, so this is it for this first video. I hope I could create a little bit of value for you and give you a little bit of a better understanding where Bitcoin is coming from, what is affecting Bitcoin prices, what are the advantages, and where is Bitcoin is possibly going to. If you wanted to get involved into the cryptocurrency market and you don't know how, you don't know where, you don't know, you're basically a newbie and you have no idea, I highly would recommend you to get involved into our Cryptonaire team, which is a US-based team. We are involved into Crypt Trade Capital, but we also provide you with a full developed marketing system. We have all videos in place that explain you how to get involved, how to purchase, and all these sort of things, so you can comfortably get involved into cryptocurrency trading without having any previous experience. So if you wanted to do that, I pop you the link underneath of this video. And obviously, I also pop you my Facebook address, my email address, and anything like that underneath of the video, so you can easily get in touch with me. And yeah, then we see each other in the Cryptonaire team. We see each other in in my next video. And then I wish you happy investing. Bye bye.